All right, looks like we got people coming in now. It is the weekly live show. Ryan Peters, Travis Butt, Joe Spillman, also known as just Joe for this week. It was the Joe Spillman last week. This week, it's just Joe. We're ready to dive in. We have a ton of news to talk about. We have some rants that we're going to do. We got a brand new game to play with you guys. All kinds of stuff coming your way here on the weekly show of Stuck in the Catchments. All right. Welcome in, gentlemen. Today has been a day full of different types of news right before we go into the show. We thought we'd be a busy week, but before we even get started, I'll introduce you to my co-hosts. First off, starting with Travis. Travis, how are you doing today?
Living the dream, kind of long day. Finally got home, and we're home, so can't beat that. Just trying to make it to Friday, right? Isn't it always almost Friday?
It's Indiana, so Friday's a big deal for you as you got some basketball coming up. You know, Joe obviously will probably be at some basketball tomorrow as well as along as myself. So a lot of stuff in the state of Indiana when it comes to winding down here in February.
Mm-hmm. Big games tomorrow.
Joe, how have you been, bud?
But unlike Travis, I'm not living a dream. I'm just dreaming about him.
My ankles aren't taped today. I'm sorry. They were taped yesterday and the day before, but they are not taped today, unfortunately. So, you gotta wait. You gotta get those feet pics another day.
Yeah.
Actually, you didn't pay your last invoice. So
That's
I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that.
That's fine. I don't get paid till tomorrow, so I'll get that out.
Joe is the New York and Rev Racing of OnlyFans when it comes to not processing his payment on time. So, Joe, you might have a lawsuit coming your way. I heard Travis's interest is pretty high.
That's okay. I'm good with it.
All right. So to run down what we got for you guys, we'll start off with a quick rant, then we'll get to the news. We got a brand new game, like I said, to play with you all at home. You can try to do the same. And also a Las Vegas preview, as that's where we're headed this week. Schedule's changed a little bit, but we'll be heading to Vegas before we head out to Phoenix. But I want to typically use this segment for a quick question. But I want to talk to you guys on knowing how to talk sports / NASCAR. Here recently in the chat, and a lot of you people watching now probably won't have this issue going forward, especially when it comes to commenting on different things. But maybe we all just need a refresher. This week, just in particular, I have had comments, and a lot of times whenever you do any type of social media with today's culture and stuff like that, it's very popular to say something but not do any, like, watch the video, read the article, do any of those things. So I posted something this week, a Let's Talk About It, where I talked about why I thought NASCAR would do better and never be never be taken over by Formula One. And that was a video that I really enjoyed making and things of that nature. But we have had comments here recently, and I want to share it with you guys and see what you guys think. One person, and this is great. You are correct. Okay. That's a good start. I like that. I like reading those things. But nothing stated here is why that will be. Okay. So I am correct by not knowing anything. Please do actual research into what makes Formula One what it is instead of pulling out a drunken rant. And I take offense to that because I was not drinking when I made this video. It really does make you fit a stereotype. I don't know what that means other than that I might be drunk. I do like to have a good live stream cocktail, because of Daniel Suarez. We're still on the margaritas.
It means you're a hillbilly NASCAR fan.
Okay. So I asked, and Joe and I have had some disagreements recently, but I am unlike Elsa. I have a hard time letting it go whenever you say something to me because I like to have a conversation. And Joe and I may disagree on something, and we can have a conversation without saying, you're a hillbilly that fits a certain stereotype. But there's no substance to this. And if you're going to comment on something, you can disagree with me all you want. That's fine. The subject at hand, we can have a disagreement. I have no problem with that. But let me know what it is you disagree with, especially after you tell me I'm correct and then tell me I'm wrong on all fronts. Then somebody commented on the Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson thing. NASCAR has gone straight to hell, makes me want to puke. I don't know if two individual fighting makes NASCAR gone to hell, but that actually is what put NASCAR on the map was Cale Yarborough and Mr. Donnie Allison fighting. And I said, thanks for the comment. And, that's great insight because that person took time. Not only is it so bad, but they took time to comment. And then on the other Formula One, I said, I hope he's just talking about in America. Otherwise, he's very, very ignorant. Now, I may be very, very ignorant, but if you watch the video, which I know it was 9 minutes long, I said it is just about America. If I make a video, I'm going to tell you this. I don't give a shit about what the sport is doing in Brazil. I really don't. It means nothing to me. So just assume that I'm talking about the United States. We do have 0.1% that watch in Uzbekistan. And sometimes I will be talking to you guys. And the last comment, Formula One has been ahead of NASCAR for a long time as it's been a thing, whatever that means. One is a world-renowned sport enjoyed across the globe. The other is a sport enjoyed by Hicks. And I said, ha, 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 enjoyed by Hicks. What an asinine comment. Because in the video, I tell you why the demographic matters on why I think NASCAR will always succeed in the United States compared to Formula One. Because it's enjoyed by blue-collar people, not Hicks. Blue-collar people that don't want to pay $2,000 to go watch a race on the weekend, where they may have a manhole cover come up and you not get reimbursed for being able to watch that. So, do you guys want to add anything to that? Have you faced any of this type of criticism yourself? And would you like to rant? So, Joe's always ready to rant. So, Joe, just if you want to take control, I mean, these reins are being pumped up. Let's see.
Well, first of all, the F1 NASCAR debate is not really a debate for anybody that watches NASCAR, because I could watch a Formula One race and I can give you one or two people that are going to win that damn race. So the thrill of racing's not there. All your paid drivers race in overpriced race cars, and you know who's going to win. So at the end of the day, I really don't give a shit what's going on in the rest of the world either. I care about what's going on here in the good old US of A, and that's what matters to me. And Formula One will never be bigger than NASCAR in this country or Travis Buck.
Well,
add to that.
I think you just look at, first off, let's give that person props. If you pull up the one comment again, they used the right your. So, maybe they do have some. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was your first one that they did use the right. You're welcome. So they did use. Maybe they have a little sense. You got to give out a little.
That
credit,
is a struggle for me. So I do agree with you, Travis.
Hey, I think you just got to give them a little credit here. But I think I have an issue a lot of times because you got some people that have, there's a sense of like they think they know it all. I think they know like every single sport. It's sometimes hard. I just kind of keep some comments to myself. It's like when people people know I like NASCAR and people try to talk to me about NASCAR. And I'm just like, you don't really watch it like I do. You don't live and breathe it like you want. It's just, you're going to tell me a comment about how, someone is better than somebody else. It's just, and it goes perfectly with like the Barstool, pod, with
fan here.
Always a big fan. Appreciate all the support out there. But no, I think you just look at like the Barstool pod. What do they call it? They call it Rubbins Racing. I think you look at that perfectly and you go, God, large inspired. They talk about this. And I'm like, you guys have no clue. And it's like they were talking about Atlanta being the best race ever. And I'm just going, you guys didn't become a fan until 2-3 years ago when Barstool gave you the assignment of being NASCAR fans because they couldn't find another thing for you to do. So They just gave it on you. So, and, I think some of these podcasts, they talk about racing, Barstool being one of them. I sit there and go, wow, like you got people like us that live, breathe, and do this. You got those two that do nothing besides wear, clothes. And they go to these people and talk, and it's like they have no clue about racing. And it's just, oh man, that, what's that Peter Griffin grind my gears. That is something that grinds my gears.
Yeah, it really grinds my gears.
I mean, if you look at that, like some of these podcasts that make money off all this stuff, they just, God, man, they irk me. Is that the right word? Is that the new slang?
That's you can say whatever you want, Travis. It's just the thing is, like, I watch Formula One. I enjoy Formula One. At the same time, I shared a short or a reel with somebody the other day, and I thought that it just perfectly summed it up for me, which was funny because he's a Formula One fan. And it said, "Let me explain Formula One to you in 3 seconds." And it said, "Lights out, here we go." And Max Verstappen wins the race. Like that. That was literally the 3-second reel. And, there's a lot of truth to that. And, and I think it's healthy to have debate and have conversation. I'm not the guy that's going to sit here and tell you how great IndyCar is. Joe enjoys IndyCar and all those type of different things. But I'm not going to go out of my way to let other people know how stupid they are for enjoying something that they enjoy. And I just feel like that's an asinine thing to do that is a reflection of today's culture. So it's just one of those things that if you come to stuck in the catch fence and you don't know what you're talking about, I will respond back. And, I don't mind having a debate if you disagree with what it is I say. But if you're going to debate and have a comment based upon a thumbnail, it's not going to go well for you. I will say that. So do yourself a favor, become educated, watch a race. And if you disagree, that's fine. Just actually have an understanding on why you disagree besides just calling us a Hicks. Zach, dang, the generic profile pick was better. Joe, welcome back. That's tough. Formula should have been left to the Firebird. So those are some confidence. And then Hunter Holden, I don't know if this guy, like, does he owe you money or something, Travis? I mean, he is all on them.
He hasn't paid his invoice for OnlyFans either for my feed picks. So I told him he can come here and comment and get us some views. I appreciate it, but always appreciate it, Hunter. I think you were at my house today. If I'm not mistaken, I think you were actually at my house today, but I could be wrong. His race car's at my house.
His race car's at your house.
Okay. His race car is at my house, but I don't know if he was. I had some people at my house calling me asking where I was, and he could have been one of them.
Gotcha, but not to drop payment. He dropped a car, so he dropped collateral, not a payment.
He was here. He was here. He was looking for his picks.
Yeah, well, sometimes you want to see him in picture, but unfortunately, the camera does add a lot of stuff to that. So I just got done with my rant instead of the quick question. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to something much more productive, and let's get to the NASCAR news because we do have a lot. Joe, are you here? Joe is into the abyss. That's okay. We'll get started with that.
He saw that comment and ran.
Oh, man. See, it's all Zach's fault.
Yeah, I think
it was
so.
A backhanded compliment. Oh, there he is. And Zach said, baby, come back. Speaking of comeback, that's actually Antonio Brown's favorite move.
I think I'm back.
Okay. All right, Joe, welcome back. We are going to get into the NASCAR news. I'm just going to throw it out there as quickly as I possibly can, and then we'll all kind of go through and dissect it.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you're back. You're 30 minutes late, but you're back, Joe. Joey Logano fined $10,000. That was from wearing webbed gloves. We'll kind of get into that here in just a second. L1 penalties for Gragson and Priest. Those are 35-point penalties. That was for the roof rails that were confiscated before they got into qualifying. Bubba Pollard to JR Motorsports. We were speculating who was going to be running for Junior Motorsports. A lot of people out there were looking at NASCAR legends, and unfortunately, if you were one of those people thinking Carl Edwards or Jeff Gordon or Kurt Busch or maybe Dale Jr. himself, like he just opens up the curtain and he pops out, it was Bubba Pollard. Dale Jr. did have news, though. He is going to Amazon, and then Honda has now become a serious player as a fourth team. Travis, that is the news. Is there anything that you would like to start with first? Anything that caught your eye or you like to go with?
I think that Joey Logano fine. I get, safety. I think I don't remember exactly who it was. for the truck race when we went. They didn't have the head sock on. I think it might have been Zane Smith, if I'm not mistaken on that, but I don't exactly remember. But I think this is a little different context. I get it's not informed, but God, you gotta love you gotta love the creativity, like the creativity of to try to get a quarter of a tenth to get to try to get 100th of a second faster by using those web gloves. Like you got to plod. I think you don't even penalize. I think you might like give a fine. I think the fine was okay, but I don't think the whole other like come down pit road. I think you just like hey, like slap in the back of the hand, like hey, nice creativity.
I'll slap him in the back of the head. I don't give a
Hey, nice creativity, but God, I hate that we've come into the thing is like, that is so creative. That was definitely in the gray area, but God, like that is creative. Like who would have thought of that? Like I really like I give Joey Logano and Penske credit for that. I hated seeing, I get it. Like, yeah, does it not probably go with the safety regulation? No, you probably should have could fined. I don't think it was a $10,000 fine, but I think it was probably a $5,000 fine. But I think
So have you heard Denny Hamlin on Actions Detrimental talk about how, I don't know if you watch some of you
not yet this
guys,
week.
comment below. Okay, so this is what Denny Hamlin had to say. He said, "Hi John Forster, hi Kevin Harvick, hi Stuart Haas, biggest fan." He said that it wasn't just about like holding on to the wheel, but if you watch Daytona, a lot of people were putting their hands out the window to take air off the A-frame. So what Denny Hamlin is suggesting that the web glove was just like a big deterrent for downforce, and that's the reason why he was using it, not to hold on to the wheel better, but to actually deflect air.
That's what it was used for.
So I
It was
mean,
actually to use
yeah,
it so
it's just wild.
so if your hand has that trying to cover that, but what they were doing was putting that web so that air was actually going off the spoiler, so
Right.
less air to get in. I mean, that's what it's 100% what it was used for. It wasn't, he admitted that. They all admitted that, but that's what I said. I think I say bad NASCAR for the sake of, you gotta, hey, that's creative. Like I mean, who thinks of that? Like who goes to find 100th of a second that they got to go all the way down to their glove to do it, so super creativity. Got to give them props on that. But God, I hated seeing them get actually all the penalties and stuff for the sake of, the creativity. But, it is, I'm glad he didn't lose points and, whatever, but it is what it is.
Well, we got to ask Joe, because Joe likes to play games, and that's one of the things we're doing this week. Joe, is web gloves more beneficial than Scotch tape? On the scale of Scotch tape penalties, is that more egregious?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we're at the point where we're just making shit up now for penalties. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with.
The guy was using
gloves.
a catcher's mitt and driving, man. Give him a freaking $10,000 bonus.
Web gloves are more egregious than Scotch tape. That's where I'm at.
Okay. So now we lost a win. We actually had 2 forfeits because of Scotch tape. I'm just curious if we don't just go ahead and sue everybody.
Yeah, Logano,
and disqualify everybody.
Should be suspended. He should be suspended for the season.
John says, "Yeah, go ahead, give me crap for staying with SHR, but I still have Josh Berry and Chase Briscoe still in the mix, and they have speed." John, until they win a race, we're always going to give you crap, but it's all in love. It's all in friendship. It's all in caring. The next piece of news, the penalties for Stuart Haas Racing for trying to cheat again. So 35 points, the L1 penalties. This had nothing to do with the actual race. Actually, you had a comment there that we're playing charades with. Travis was. Were they like webbed between the fingers or webbed?
So they had them here. So you see how they're, whatever.
And there's a big one. There's a big one
but
here.
They had, I don't have anything around me, but
Zach would understand a hockey glove.
Hey,
so that's a great reference.
Yes, it really probably what it was, but they just had the extra, they just didn't have, they had no, there's nothing, gloves have nothing in between. I don't have my gloves in here right now. But then all they did was essentially fill these holes up to where instead of the air going through here, the air was actually getting pushed out. There was nothing in between them. it was creative. I give him that. Like, it was super creative.
Yeah. So probably something that's more egregious is changing the roof rails at a place that requires certain downforce, and we saw penalties given again for Stuart Haas Racing for Noah Gragson and Ryan Preece. They both lose 35 points. Unfortunately for Noah Gragson, Joe, Travis Butt, and Ryan Peters, without running a race, have more points right now in the season standings because we are not in the negative as Noah Gragson is right now with -6 points, which is back-to-back years that Noah Gragson has been in the negative in the points. So, tough start to the career for Noah Gragson.
I was doing some research on, that stuff, and there was a few comments that said that they were obvious that they were not even close. And I think that goes back to some of the Stuart Haas things that it's been happening since the next gen car, like some very obvious, like cheating, at least, we say you have cheaters in the sport, but at least not make it so obvious. Cause they said those were not very obvious. Kevin Harvick's penalty last year was not obvious. The intake,
the windshield flying out almost wasn't obvious.
The intake for them last year as well. Like, for Briscoe, they just got to be less obvious. They're trying to cheat. I get it, but like, make it less obvious.
Joe, you mentioned that it's not a single source part. So if it's not a single source part, are you fair game for them to just do whatever they want, or what is your thought process on this penalty?
I mean, I'm gonna, I'm ignorant on, and I'm use Joe Spillman logic, but
you're a big roof rail guy. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I had to do a little research. I mean, I understood the concept of roof rails, but research as to what they actually did. And that's where I learned that they're not a single source part. And obviously, single source parts, right? You can't alter them, you can't touch them. They have to on the car as is. That's it. Roof rails are manufactured by the individual race teams, and anything that you say, hey, here's the specs, you got to be within these guidelines, you can put them on your car. I think that leaves a gray area. Now, I am ignorant to the subject of how egregious they were, like Travis said, but if I have a race and you say, hey, these are the parameters you got to work in, just like everyday life, my interpretation of something might be a lot different than yours. And I think the penalty where, you left it up to interpretation of how they had to be is kind of out there to me as well. So I think
that's a good point, Joe. I think that's a good point because, like, if it's something that can be changed, which they did before qualifying, why do they not just fail inspection? Why do they actually get confiscated and a 35-point penalty?
Yeah, and we've talked about penalties over and again because NASCAR, like, we joked about it earlier, but they have a really bad habit of enforcing what most fans think is stupid ass penalties, like the web gloves we just harped on a little bit. My light just went out. But
that's why I can't pay for them feet picks, Travis. You can't afford to keep the lights
electric.
I forgot to pay my damn electric bill. But with any penalty, I always want to know what is the advantage of altering or not being within the specs with the roof rails. So, if we're not talking, Travis knows a lot more about this than me, but advantage did altering those roof rails actually get them? Let me fix my light. Go ahead, Travis.
I think Ryan said it best. Is they downforce. You're looking at, deflection off the air off a spoiler. I wouldn't even say it's even, partially downforce. I think it's just the air coming off the spoiler, which, less drag is faster. So, they were trying to limit the air that was hitting on that spoiler, stuff like that. I'm actually excited for Friday and Saturday to, now since NASCAR post, they have what they used to have where the part they confiscated is get puts on the table so everyone can see.
The shame bench. We got the shame bench coming back.
Everyone's going to be able to see that. So I'm actually a little bit excited. Like the research I read it was not it was very obvious. Like NASCAR, it was one of those things where, you walk into you walk in somewhere and, the first thing you do is you got to your hair is completely different. The first thing people notice is like, why is your hair different? And they said it's Tuesday. Those two cars walked up on that onto their little thing. First thing that NASCAR says like, why is that different? It was immediate. So,
Do you think there should not be grace there? Do you think that they should have had an opportunity to fail inspection? You get 3 times.
I
So
mean, I think it kind of depends what it is. I think NASCAR is pretty serious now. Like, we're back in the day. I think if you had something legal, yeah, you just kind of field inspection, came back through, whatnot. I think I kind of agree. I guess I kind of agree with that, where if you maybe put some illegal stuff on there, and then, I think it's like dirt racing, like we put stuff on our rear end, as soon as we walked through the line, they were like, you need to take those off. And I'm like, we'll go do that. And I came back to the pit, we took them off and went back through and we were fine.
right.
I think it's just the ingenuity of the sport is kind of getting lower and lower with all these single stores. I get they're trying to cut costs, but in order to make speed, you gotta cheat somewhere. That you don't make speed by doing nothing different. So
Right.
SHR's kind of been running slow, so they've been trying to do some different stuff, and obviously it's hurt their wallet a little bit here the last year and a half.
Yeah, it's definitely hurt their wallet and hurt the way that they are able to keep guys in the points. I mean, their owner points and driver points have been just absolutely destroyed by these penalties.
Think how much money they've lost from the sake of, because how they get paid is based on the percentage of their points finish and owners. So, so think about how much less money they're making because of the penalties, but also from their percentage of, like, because it's all factored in. So, like, Hendrick makes a hell of a lot more than Rick Rare Racing from the standpoint they finished higher in points over the last couple of years compared to them. They get a bigger cut. So
Yeah, and Hendrick's saying they're not making money.
yeah. So I don't know, but it's just I kind of have it. I agree a little bit to the point that you got to let. I get you're trying to limit so much stuff, but I also think that you got to let these people think a little bit and let them be creative. And that's we want to go back to grassroots racing and back in the day, and NASCAR's like, we don't want that anymore. Like, we want blah blah. But it's like all the truck teams, like we just talked about the other day. Like, how did all these truck teams not? How did how did the rigs? The only person that got disqualified when literally there was 10 pictures out there and watching the race of everyone's roofs caved in. And, they said Bailey Curry was, from debris. And I guess they did find a little nick, but heck, his was like that from the start of the race. So I don't know. I don't know. I think there's just things, and Joe went night night.
Thanks, Zach. We always appreciate, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just let him be creative.
You did have a great segue back to grassroots racing, and Junior Motorsports announced that Bubba Pollard will be racing for them starting at Richmond, I believe, is the very first race. He is a super late model guy that will be joining in. There were rumors everywhere. It was kind of like the group chat that we had. I imagined you and Joe like off It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where the guy's like pointing to all the different spots,
Yeah.
Where he's trying to figure out the murder, and he's like, kind of like that. And unfortunately, if you were expecting somebody really, really big name, you got Bubba Pollard. For the grassroots people are jacked up about Bubba Pollard.
Yeah. Well, the way he tweeted, I'm like, oh my God, like he's going to bring in someone that we haven't seen in forever. Like, oh, we have
that was
that's
accurate.
Exciting. And I was like, heck yeah. Like, that's why I texted you guys, like, great announcement. And I think it laid out at 10 o'clock. And I remember texting you guys going, what? Like, I went from taking a blue pill to it just went wasted.
Yeah.
It got me so unenergetic. I get it. Like, great for him. Like, he deserves it. He works his tail off. Like, Ream coming in and sponsoring him, like, cool stuff. But I was like, like, I know so many people saw that and was like, seriously? Like, you got us that excited for that. But good for him. I hope he's like another Josh Berry story, if we're going to be honest. A guy that works his tail off. Whenever they called him, he was actually doing like spring testing or something. So,
Yeah,
so good
I
for
heard
him.
that.
So whatever, good for
Well,
him.
Joe, this next piece of news is for you. You like talking about the broadcast booths. Dale Jr. will be going to Amazon. He is leaving NBC permanently as of permanently this year / next year. What is the bigger news, that Amazon is able to recruit a talent like Dale Jr., or NBC losing talent and not having him in the booth this year?
Well, NBC's lacked talent for the last couple of years anyway, so I don't think that I don't, this really doesn't surprise me. I think initially, when news broke that had not been renewed with NBC, I think everybody was kind of a little bit. I know I was, because there was no build up to that. You didn't hear anything. It was just you just kind of assumed, it's going to be as. But I think real this news and speculate a little bit. I think we could probably see broadcast is going to go, and I'm kind of excited to see another player get in the game. So,
yeah, I think it's tough that if it is only with Amazon, it sucks that it's only for 5 races. If you want to know my full perspective on Dale Jr. leaving NBC, shameless plug, I have a video on that. It's actually done really, really well, so I do appreciate
a
you guys
great
that have
video.
watched that. So thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, and I'll Venmo you a couple dollars as well.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Travis,
He hasn't paid me. He pays me first. Before, that money comes to me.
It's a circle. It's a circle.
That money goes to me.
Well,
It's a circle.
He'll pay you for my feet pics.
Okay. All right. Travis, you got $2 coming your way. Travis, what is your thought process with Dale Jr.? Is it going to hurt NBC more? Is it going to help, Amazon? I sent you guys, if Amazon gets Alan Bestwick and Dale Jr., I mean, there's people going to lose their minds. That would be a great product, especially since we don't have SRX anymore and Alan Bestwick is essentially a free agent. What is your thought process with this news?
Oh God, you know what? I always think about that. Bringing some other people back. I think we talk about some of these older people coming back because that's where we were. That's how we grew up with NASCAR. These are the people we grew up with. Some of these younger, 2021 or people that are just now getting into the sport have no idea what, with some of these broadcasters or what they grew up with. It's like the old NBC logo or some of these other announcers. Would it be great? Oh, yeah, that would bring back so many memories. That would bring back terrific memories of just the old days with NBC coming in, and then you had TNT and, some of these other, stuff, and even ESPN at points.
Mm-hmm.
It would bring back so many memories, but I personally, I really could give 2 shits less who's in that broadcast booth. I was a big Jeff Gordon fan, but I'll be honest with you, when he got into the booth, was he decent? He was okay. I mean, nothing special, but I don't think it made a difference for me to watch the race or not. As if you're a racing fan, I'm still watching because I sit there all the time and go well, the commentary didn't mention that. Oh my God, did you see that big piece of debris that went off that car? Why did I not see that? I think, is it a good piece? I think Dale Jr. does a terrific job in the broadcast booth. I will admit that. I think he's fun. He's listened to. He gives good insight. I think he did really good for NBC. I think Amazon's stealing him. I bet they paid a pretty good penny. I think Jeff Bezos paid a pretty good penny for him to come over. But
that'll definitely go into his penis rocket fund. I mean, that's going to hurt.
Oh, yes, very, very. But
I can't.
Very.
Right on that penis rocket.
I just think I just think that bad for NBC. I think NBC's probably shouldn't have let him slide, but it like I said, it comes down to I wish we watched the race on one thing. We don't have to go back from Channel 19 to Channel 3 to Fox Sports 1 to Fox Sports 2 to now we got to go to NBC, then we got to go to NBC Sports. Just give me. I think Xfinity's going to do great next year. They got every race on one channel. It's going to be on one channel only, which is terrific. But I think you just gotta. I for me, it really don't matter. I think Daniel Jr. is probably, in my opinion, the best broadcaster out there. That's most exciting. He definitely gives me a good perspective of some stuff, and it's a good pickup for Amazon. It sucks that we're not gonna really get him in the booth. I'm assuming he'll probably do like a special guest or something like that. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't come back for like the Talladega race for Fox this year, because he's technically doesn't have anything to do with any of that stuff. So
That's true.
So interesting, very interesting. I think there was some talks about that, about a couple months ago about him leaving NBC, but I'm really interested to see what NBC replaces him with. But like I said, I'm somebody that I commentate my own races anyways. I'm sitting there like, oh, look, they're wrecking. Oh my God, like blah, blah, blah. I commentate my own races. I could probably take the volume off if I really wanted to. But
the last piece of news we're going to table, because that'll probably be a bigger topic. And whenever that becomes more and more serious, attractive, Honda possibly coming in as a fourth team, we could probably just do a show on that by itself. But I just want to let you guys know that Honda is now possibly becoming more and more serious, as we once heard Dodge was really, really serious about coming back. But we're going to start a new game, and I want to go ahead and give you the teaser for that, and then we'll get that rolling. All right. So rolling off the grid, and if Saw doesn't make you still want to pee your pants, then you're much more manly than I am. So I am going to share my screen here for you guys, and we will get that going. So the game, let me know when you guys can see it. Are you guys able to see it now?
We're good.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is rolling off. This is rolling off the grid. Okay. It might feel like roulette. So what it is we're going to spin the wheel. Whoever wants to go first, I'll let you pick, Travis, since you're ahead in points. You can decide who goes first, second, and third if you want. If you want to take the reins, it's up to you.
I'll take it. Let's go. I'm ready. I like games.
Right.
I want to go first.
All right. So here's how it works. You have to choose where you think said driver will finish in Vegas. If you get it right, you get 10 points. You will then lose 2 points for each position that they finish below that. So essentially, if you get to the 5th place position, you'll get 2 points, but from where you pick. So if you pick them to get 5th and they get first, you will get 2 points. Okay. That's the way it is. Much different than when we make our picks later in the show. So Travis is first, and let's see what driver he gets. And hopefully this goes well. Here we go.
Give me like a Rick Ware racing car.
Yes.
Ooh, that's an interesting
Truex?
one.
Is that Truex?
AKA Ryan Truex's brother.
God, that is a good one. Give me.
So where is Martin Truex going to finish?
7th.
7th. Okay.
Give me 7th.
So let me. Can you? I can probably do this. Let me try here.
I got it.
I'm gonna try to multitask. MTJ7 Travis. I like to put these in the chat so I can see later on.
Yep.
All right, Joe. Would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next?
Okay.
Here we go. I'll just go Joe Gibbs Racing.
Ooh.
You have Christopher
That's
Bell.
tough.
Where do you think Bell will finish at Las Vegas?
14th.
Ooh.
Oh, dang.
Oh, Z.
Zach said 4-2.
No, he was saying Montrex. He said Montrex for 14th. He said
Oh,
that right
okay,
before.
okay.
But
So,
you know,
because I'm trying to bounce between screens, so that's fine. All right. So here
Oh,
we go.
yeah,
I'll
I
do
didn't
mine.
even-
Big whammies. Or big money, no whammies. Oh, God. It's all Toyota.
Oh.
First off, that's a fire scheme. I do like that
Yes.
Dollar Tree scheme. That's
Take
a
the
that's a
Coca-Cola
fire
off.
scheme for not a great not a great store.
Hey,
If you've
take
ever
it from
been
the
to a
pull-off.
Dollar Tree, you wonder why they keep the dumpster in the back of the store. Guess we're not getting Dollar Tree as a sponsor. 12th. I'm gonna go 12th with Eric Jones. E. Jones, 12. Right. I'm not proud about it.
I just
All
want
right.
to talk
So
about Joe's pick. That was coming off, almost should have won the fall race. Come back with woo.
Joe hates Yoders, man. Joe just hates Yoders. I mean, that's all we've had so far.
Zach said
We'll each get
21st.
3 picks.
Yeah.
All right. So here's pick number 2
For me.
for Travis. Zach, I appreciate you playing.
Yeah.
All right. This is a tough one.
Oh my God.
Ryan Priest, aka he thinks he's the toughest guy you know.
17th.
17. No hezzy. No, I knew you would like that, Joe. That was for you. R Priest.
Hey, who is he gonna have the roof rails or no roof rails?
We'll have to find out when we have qualifying. Travis. All right.
These are tough ones.
Joe,
Guys.
pick number 2 for you.
These are tough.
Who made this game? Who made
God.
this game? Oh, now this is a popular driver among our picks from what I saw earlier.
Oh, yeah.
This is
I'm gonna say 9th, top 10.
That's a good
okay.
pick. That's a good
Red.
one. Because you know what's tough about the game, if you really think about it, is if you say like 2nd, but he finishes like 11th, but at least if you say like 5th, you'll still get points either way, like 5th or 7th.
I'll be interested to see if anybody gets one right. All right, here's mine. Oh, I gotta redo. We got Reddick again.
Oh no!
That's
Now
fine.
you gotta pick it.
You want to do it that way? I want to
Spin it.
respin. I want everybody to have their own chance.
Spin it.
You guys are going to talk about Reddick in your picks. Hint, not hint. So that's fine.
Oh,
don't give me Brad K.
Oh,
Shit! God, what a fucking bum. Oh man. So Brad's like 30th in points. He did decent here once. Last year. 18th.
oh man!
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Gross. God, why? All right, Travis's last pick.
I wanted someone in the back or the front. These middle pack ones are tough.
All right, here you go. Here's the middle pack.
What is up with these? John, these are John picks. I got 2 screwed off racing. John, where is he going to finish? John, help me out here.
John, top 4. John's never going to. John will always say top 4.
John, come on. Help me out here. Give me. You know what? Give me 9th. Give me a top 10. Give me 9th.
Oh, Chase Briscoe 9th.
Give me a top 10.
For Travis. All right. Joe, your last
John,
one.
Oh, he said 5th. John said 5th. I'm still going with 9th.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Oh, here we go.
Who is it?
Yep. Zane Smith.
Oh.
That's tough.
26th.
Zane Smith. 26, Joe. That was a tough one. All right, big bucks, no whammies. Here we go. Man, some of these got great.
That's a lot of points you lose if he finishes like 12.
Oh God, teammate. Oh, Silver Spoon.
Oh, speaking of the devil.
36.
How many laps left?
I should. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. How many laps until Austin Dillon gets in a wreck? Oh God. 16th. He can't always have shitty luck, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He's in Vegas with a Bet MGM car.
So's my guy. Calm down. All right, guys. Well, there you go. That is our new game. We'll be playing that more often. That was fun. Hopefully, you guys at home enjoy that as well. 20 foot. Well, you know what? I'm
Where's
not going to
Zach
defend
coming with
Austin
these
Dillon.
numbers?
I'm not going to defend Austin Dillon.
Hey, we got to save
I
these.
like that Chase Briscoe. That we got Chase Briscoe 9th, 5th, and 33rd. More respect for Zane Smith by Joe than Chase Briscoe for Zach. That's tough. Man, why so evil, Zach? What did Chase Briscoe do to you?
He sucked.
Well, yeah, that's fair. It's moving on now. We're going to actually break down the Las Vegas race. So let's get to it. All right. So, yeah, and in case you guys are wondering, that actually is Travis's car that he will be racing at the Berg this year. So, sample that right from it. So, Las Vegas last year, well, in the previous couple years, it's been the Hendrick Motorsports show. So, I think we'll probably see that. Chevy's dominated earlier this year. It's really been a Toyota track before the next gen car. But as of late, was it Willie B and Kyle Larson won both races last year?
Yep, so, and then the year before that, Bowman won the year before that.
So we could have went all.
And Larson won the year before that.
Joe's favorite memory of this, and he posted this as a short, is whenever he talked about Tony Stewart going to kick the ass of Joey Logano. Mm-hmm. And then after the interview, you know, the great late Steve Burns goes, "Thank you," and he goes, "No, thank you." Absolutely wonderful.
I'm going out there bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony. No, thank you. Rest in peace, Steve Burns. And then Kyle Busch and Joey Logano got into it, and Kyle Busch had to fight the Jackman for Joey Logano, and he did not win that. The Jackman jacked him up. So we've had some good racing and also some good clips, and we'll have a good short tomorrow. I'll give you a hint. It's a wreck with Jeff Gordon in the car of tomorrow. I believe he was going around 195 miles per hour when he hit the inside concrete retaining wall where there was an opening. So you'll want to see that if you like to watch sheet metal go across the entire landscape of the back stretch, and drivers survive really, really tough wrecks. So you guys, Joe, I'll go to you. Is there anything you're expecting different at Las Vegas? It's a mile and a half. They traditionally have been pretty solid here recently. Do you think Hendrick dominance continues?
Yeah, man, I think so. Obviously, we'll get to that in my picks later, but I mean, they've dominated the mile and a half. It's NASCAR's bread and butter. This next gen car, I think we've talked about this, at length the last couple of years, but one thing that the next gen car has done is I don't know. He's talking about Travis's feet.
Oh, Jesus.
Which I thought we were going to get a shot earlier. I was all up here trying. You picked the camera back up.
I'm not in tune with fetish slang. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah. So,
Joe, are you there? Blink twice. Joe.
Rip. We started talking about his damn payments and feet, and there he went.
Yep, and his wife unplugged the router. That's unfortunate. Speaking of Hendrick Motorsports, I want to shout out to Home Field, located in Indiana. Hey, there's Joe. Got the nice Tim Richmond. We can hear you now, Joe. Do you want to try to continue?
Yeah, I apologize. No, I just, next gen car has been really great in a mile and a half the last couple of years, and I'm ready to see NASCAR's bread and butter. I was going to say to Travis, though, that I will be at every Lawrenceburg Speedway race this year just to watch the pure style. Have Travis's car number on painted on my chest, and on the back, I'm going to say I'm Butts Lover.
I love it. I can't hope to have you there with a bunch of pictures.
I'm not even going to get the yellow flag. That's not even worthy of the yellow flag. Didn't do justice to,
No, that's
to
the
deserve that.
That's the blue and yellow with the that's the slow down. Yeah,
I got you,
let
bro.
Please go by.
Hell with it. I ain't putting it back. Travis, you got anything that you want to talk about when it comes to Las Vegas? What you're looking forward to this weekend?
Just typical. It's a mile and a half. Excited for it. Interested to see what the new bodies of the Fords and Toyotas do. The Toyotas, I think they kind of changed the body a little bit to help them with the super speedways. But obviously, I think Ford's had that little, Ford's been a little lack on the mile and a half a little bit. So I'm kind of a little excited to see what happens there. I think still Chevy comes out and, I think a Chevy still wins, respectively. But, I'm interested to see what those new bodies do and, trying to just get them adjusted to whatever it is. I'm excited for Ryan Preece to finish 17th. I'm excited for Martin Truex to finish 7th. And then I'm excited for Chase Briscoe to finish 9th. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
And we'll see if he has any of those drivers in these picks. Hint. Let's go ahead and look at the season standings. I have points. That's always good. Rowdy got me some points, which it all got canceled out because everybody else chose him too. Joe has 5 points now, and Travis continues his domination with 11 points and the dub. So let's go ahead and get into our picks. Sorry, that's all I got. Travis will go with Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, and that is a short if you want to watch them get into it. Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick. Joe will go with Kyle Larson, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Hamster, and Ryan Blaney. And I just said F all y'all. I'm going completely different, and that's why I'm in last. I'm going with William Byron, Chase Elliott, because you guys talked about that Hendrick Motorsports, and I said I'm going Oppo Taco with that. Speaking of Taco, I'm going Daniel Suarez. Then I will go C-Bell, who, according to Joe, will have a shitty day when it comes to Sunday.
Shitty day.
And I went with maybe one of my favorite paint schemes that Joey Logano has ever run, which traditionally Pennzoil has been a sponsor at Las Vegas, and they do get some specialty paint schemes. I went with Joey Logano. You guys can make your picks in the chat as well. Let us know where you're going to go. Just something fun that we traditionally like to do, and I traditionally have been getting very, very poor at these. Travis is the most knowledgeable personality to ever bless us with his presence. You Zach.
Hey, we got a good day. Joe said that Tyler Reddick was going to finish 9th, so that's some points.
That's a point.
So, hey,
that's a point.
I got a point on the board already, so it's already guaranteed.
Well, if you want to be blessed with beauty, I mean, look at this. Look at this Tim Richmond. Oh, that's my God.
Shirt.
Yeah. I probably will get AIDS just wearing this.
Say, did he die of AIDS or something?
Shh. He died as a beautiful man that had a really hard time passing a drug test.
Very.
Because he had AIDS. So, but Home Field Apparel in Indiana, hashtag not a sponsor. Great shirt. Also have other Hendrick shirts on there too. Did you, Joe?
Yes. And herpes.
That's going to be a really tough talk after this show. Sorry, Mrs. Spillman.
Oh, man.
She doesn't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to say anything. There's nothing that I can say that's going to make it better. So.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I thought we were going to end the show better than that, but that is what you have when you have the three of us. It is what it is. Mary Larson Bohm Syndic. I think that means Cindric. That's fine. I got you, John.
John okay?
I got you, bro.
Is John okay?
Yeah.
Hey, where's the 5th one? We need a 5th one.
That's all right. He chose Cindric. That counts as 2. I mean, that's like 2 people.
Give it to him.
Yeah.
You can have double points for Cindric.
You can have double, and Josh Berry. I'm that guy. I'll give you double points for Josh Berry as well.
NASCAR and herpes.
Yeah, welcome. Stuck in the doctor's office is our sideshow. So that is going to do it for this week's episode. We had a ton of news, new games, and learned a lot more about Joe than what we really wanted to. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll be dropping a betting show. So if you like to make money and maybe hopefully our picks won't all wreck in the first lap and a half, I think we'll have that possibility this weekend where we don't have that happen. Joe, Travis, and I will be breaking down the odds on the best way to make money before qualifying starts. Again, plus 10,000 was Todd Gilliland before qualifying. Those are type of things that you can learn and hopefully try to make some money on as well. But that's going to end it for us. My name is Ryan Peters. For Joe, just Joe, and Travis Butt, this is Stuck in the Catch Fence. We'll see you next time. God bless.